Hi guys, Lucy aka the Watchbox Diaries here and welcome to my channel. Now, a little while back I reviewed the Fears Aurora Brunswick and I completely fell in love with that dial. I mean, just look at it. And not only that, I gained such a soft spot for Fears as a brand. So when they gave me the opportunity to get a hands-on with their new Redcliff, I obviously had to say yes and I jumped on that. If you've not watched my Aurora Brunswick video, make sure you check it out after this. There's a lot more history involved on that video, but just a quick one for this video. So when Edwin Fears first established the brand in 1846, their very first premises was on Redcliff Street in Bristol, and that is the reason that the Redcliff was the first release of the brand when they revived the company in 2016. This is a more sporty take on the OG Redcliff, and they've made a few changes that are a bit more in line with modern preferences. So let's get into the review. Okay, so let's whiz through some specs here. This updated version comes in at 39.5 millimeters. The original was 38, so they've made the case slightly bigger, I guess to keep it in line with the current market. Has a thickness of 9.98 millimeters, a screw down crown and 150 meters of water resistance. This uses the customized Swiss Joux-Perret G100 automatic movement with date function, and that has 68 hours of power reserve. So if you're not someone who picks up that particular watch every single day, you've got a few days to keep it running. This is a stainless steel case complete with stainless steel bracelet and a strap option. It retails for £3,150 and you have 4 colour options. So you've got cherry red, pewter grey, raven black and a mallard green, which they call boutique, purely because you can only pick up that particular version in the boutique itself or if you are part of the Fears Owners Club. Okay, so let's address the most obvious like for me to have. Have you seen that dial? I mean, they've kept the rest of the dial really simple with white accents and then a smidge of coral pink just to make sure that that cherry red sunburst is the focal point of the entire watch. This isn't just a pop of colour, this is an explosion. I'm a big fan of the overall case design. They have managed to keep their understated elegance aesthetic, but given it a sporty twist, and the balance of the two, in my opinion, is done so perfectly. That perfect blend goes for the bracelet too. It's a 3-link bracelet that is brushed and polished and perfectly complements the case and the dial. But as usual, Fears didn't stop there. They made it even better. They've only gone and given us a micro adjustment. Yes, this is a sports watch and it is probably a standard requirement for them, but it is not as common as you would think in a sports watch. So I'm giving props where props are due. Just like the quick release straps, if microbrands and independents can be incorporating all of these additional conveniences into their pieces, big brands need to start taking notice and incorporating it into their own ranges. This watch is super legible. It's been kept super clean and super clear with those white indices, and as an added bonus, you have lume. Am I going to use lume very often? No. Do I like it there? Absolutely. As a member of the Itty Bitty Risk Committee, it can sometimes be a challenge to find a sports watch that wears well, but this hits the mark. It's comfortable, it has wrist presence, but it doesn't look or feel too big, which is what you want. I have to mention the quality. So Fears set themselves quite a high bar in terms of quality and attention to detail, and they have not let us down with this watch. The case is both polished and brushed, and the bracelet is really well made. Although it's a sports watch, they've still given us some flair with their Fears logo on the outer clasp, and then their flower, I think it is, design on the inside of the clasp as well. Honestly, very little to gripe about on this watch. Although I am super pleased that it has micro adjust, it's not as easy to use as some others that I've come across. It is a push button, and I don't know whether it's just because of my nails, but it was pretty difficult to keep open when making the adjustments. The crown isn't my favourite. The rest of the watch is a beautiful blend of classy and sporty, and I just find the crown a little bit out of place. I know it needs to be usable, but I think maybe a smaller crown or a crown in a slightly different shape would blend more with the aesthetic of the rest of the watch. I just find it a little bit on the dumpy side. I find the case back pretty boring. I know it's almost a nothing gripe, but I wish that they had brought some of that flair and those little attention to detail to the case back. They do offer free engraving, so that's probably why they've done it. But if you don't want something on the back of the watch, it would be nice to have something there rather than just an empty case back. Overall, I'm sure it's pretty clear to see that I love this watch. That dial colour is so eye-catching. It's a dial that I can see myself staring at all day and forgetting to actually check the time. If you're not a huge fan of a statement colour, their grey and their black dial models are the perfect alternative options. I'm starting to realise Fizz has a standard for their fit and finish, and the few that I've managed to get hands on with have always been fantastic quality, so I appreciate that about these watches. If you're looking for a sports watch with a slightly less tall watch, slightly more understated elegance aesthetic, this is a perfect option. They really do live up to their motto. That is it. That is my Fizz Redcliff Cherry Red Dial review done. As always, it is now over to you. I want to know what you guys think about the brand, about the release, about my opinions. Drop everything in the comments section below. If you've enjoyed my horological ramblings and you want to support my channel, then you've got to do the YouTubey things. Make sure you've given it a like, make sure you've commented, and make sure you've subscribed to the channel, obviously. And if you want to be notified of my upcoming videos, all you've got to do is click the little bell and YouTube will do its thing. Until next time, bye.